Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. First, I just want to apologize. I'm sitting right next to a window where there's a lot of traffic and stuff going on. So you might hear something like cars driving by and stuff like that. But this honestly was the best place for me to film this video because I needed like a table and like table space essentially. But anyways, so today's video let me back up a little bit. So I have been trying to find ways that I can be a little bit more like eco-friendly, sustainable, cut down on like single-use plastics and that kind of stuff. And I'm planning to make a video sometime soon about some of the things in case anyone else out there is looking to figure out like different ways where they might be able to cut down on their single-use plastic use. So here where I live, I'd say that we're pretty like aggressive about cutting down usage of those things. So I would definitely say, you know, use of reusable shopping bags and stuff like that is pretty normal here. So in another video, I'm planning to go through some of those ideas in case you are, you know, wanting to transition out some things that you're doing right now for other more eco-friendly options. But one of the things I've been looking at and kind of considering, you know, as the past few months have gone by, is razor blades. So actually razors, like, you know, in the past I've used like, you know, whatever I could buy from the drugstore, usually with a little plastic cartridge on the end that holds the blades, and those are the, you know, that's the part you switch out whenever you need a new blade or new set of blades, because I know some of those come with like, you know, 3, 4, or 5 different blades or however many are on there. And that's something that I thought like, man, I'm throwing something away like pretty frequently, every week or a couple of weeks or something like that. But there's got to be some other options. And I've been seeing online and, you know, friends who have posted, a couple of friends here and there who have posted that they've switched to, and I don't know the actual term for it, but it's almost like, I think some people will call it like a safety razor or something like that. But anyways, I purchased a razor, or I was looking around for one that didn't use as much plastic. Definitely a lot less than what I'm currently using. And I'll be honest with you guys, some of the options that I saw out there were maybe a little bit intimidating. Like it's like one blade that's attached to a handle, and I don't know, myself just looking at it, it was just screaming like I was gonna cut myself or something if I were to actually purchase that and try to use it. So I did do more research and looked around a bunch more to find other options. And you know, another thing about this too is that some of these can be pretty pricey, and if you're spending that much money on something, in my opinion, I would want to get something that, you know, chances are I'm gonna like, that is a good, you know, good product, quality made, not something, because some of these things can be like $25 to $50 or something just for one thing, and most of those were with a single blade. And just, I don't know, the design of it made me feel a little uncomfortable. And I definitely didn't want to be spending all that much money if it's something that I would just try to use really quickly, but would, you know, I'd very quickly find out that it probably wasn't going to work for me. So I ended up going with the leaf razor. So I have it right here. There was a Black Friday special that I took advantage of, where I think it was like 20% off or something like that. So I got this whole kit of things right here that I wanted to show you guys. Leaf is a little bit more on the pricier side. This one was $70, I think $75 regular price, but I did get a set of blades and like some other stuff that I will show you guys that came all in one package. So I think at the end of the day, I spent just under $100 for all this stuff. But the amount of blades that I got included in that price is, so there's 50 blades in this container, and the razor can hold anywhere between 1 to 3 blades. So depending on your preference, you can only use 1, or if you want to use 2 or 3, that's totally fine too. If you, sorry, my phone was going off, but if you use all 3 blades with the 100 blade pack here, you would be able to change this razor about 33 times. So that to me is a lot. Like if you're changing it, let's say like twice a month, this will last you about a year and then some, maybe almost a year and a half, just depending on how often you change these blades. So let me just quickly show you everything that came in this set that I bought, and then I will open everything up individually. I did go ahead and just check it because I wanted to make sure everything came okay and wasn't damaged or anything like that as it was being shipped to me. Okay, so I did check my receipt. Thankfully it was sent to me via email, and I bought the starter bundle in the color Mercury, and I did also ask for the twig prototype since I guess it's a prototype, they're giving giving that out for free, so I just kind of wanted to see like what that was all about. I did see a picture online, but I didn't quite understand it just yet. So I did have a total of $97.40 with that Black Friday deal. So just wanted to let you guys know how much kind of everything is worth and how much it costs before we get into it. So I will tell you guys up front that on their website, and you know, this video is being filmed at the end of 2019, so if their prices have changed by the time you watch this video, I'm not sure. But right now, this set costs $113 regular price. All right, so first I'm gonna get into this razor here. So on the cover here, it says like 1, 2, 3 blade head you choose, pivoting action for those curves, optimal weight, solid zinc and stainless steel, a design and build that makes you go whoa. Welcome to the better way to shave. This is in the color Mercury, so that's another reason why I wanted to go with the leaf razor. This was the only one that I saw online that has a pivoting head. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, I haven't used it yet. I still have this wrapper right here. There are no blades installed on this just yet, but you can kind of see where all the different blades would go. And like I mentioned, the pivoting head is one of the reasons why I chose this razor, because the other ones seemed pretty stationary and only had one blade that would just kind of like glide across your skin, and that was just making me a little bit nervous. This I felt like was something that I was a little bit more used to, like the style of, because this looks like, you know, any other razor you'd probably buy from the drugstore, only it's like all metal. And I don't think other razors have a pivoting head like this. This is making me nervous, just like putting my, there's no blades in here, but it's still making me nervous. Anyways, so the next item that came in the box in this set is a little like stand for you to put your razor on. So it has razor stand. This is pretty weighty, it's a little bit heavy. Looks like this. Sorry, I also have the wrapping on here. So basically you would just place the razor right in there like this. So you could put this like on your counter or something like that, have somewhere to hold it, because you can't leave this in your shower. It's all metal, so it could rust. So you'd want to like take it out and put it on like your vanity or in your cabinet or something like that after you dry it off. As you also already saw, I did get 50 blades, which is 100 edges. So I'm thinking each blade has 2 edges on it. That seems like the only logical explanation here. This is what it looks like inside. So if you can see inside this box, each blade is just wrapped in paper and packed nicely in there. So I also got this little tin right here, which is where you would put your used razors into. So once you're done and the blades are like dull and you need to change them or whatever, you would just, I guess I need to figure out how to properly do this safely, but you would put the used blades into this tin. So on the Leaf website, I also read that once you're like, let's say you fill this up with all of your blades, like you're done and you need to get more, you could return this tin to Leaf, and I think they like melt it down, like they recycle it, and then you could order another set of blades again. So that's something that I thought was really cool, because I'll be honest, something that was making me a little bit nervous was what happens with these old blades. Do I just throw them in the trash? Like that's gotta be kind of dangerous, you know? I mean, obviously you'd wrap it up, like that kind of thing, but at the same time too, it was making me feel a little bit uncomfortable. I also didn't really feel comfortable with just putting the blades in here and like tossing it into the trash either. I mean, obviously this is a case that will hold all of them, but the case opens up. I mean, it's not being contained. This is still something, in my mind, I'm thinking still will be thrown away at some point, or like sitting in like a landfill or whatever. But the website also does mention that, you know, depending on where you live, you might have like a recycling facility that could take things like this back. I don't know of any where I live, so this made me feel a lot better that I'd be able to return it like by the mail. And I can't imagine paying postage for something small like this. I mean, this is pretty light. I would imagine if you did like fully fill it up, it might be a little bit heavy, but I can't see this being super expensive to return. And if, you know, I mean, I would say I'm pretty on board with trying to return this. I know that there is some, you know, not so eco-friendly things that go along with that, but yeah, I mean, I think that's just something that we are gonna have to make a decision on no matter what we're trying to do out there. But I mean, I did think that that was a pretty cool option, that you could return it to the company and that they would take care of it for you. All right, and the last item that I have in here is something that I mentioned. I did ask for the twig prototype to be included. It's clear, as you can see, so I think it's made out of plastic. And it looks like this might be like travel size or something like that. I'm not really sure. Like, I don't know if they're trying to make a different version of their razor, so you don't have this 3-blade situation if you just want 1 or something smaller. Like, I'm not really certain. There are some instructions in the back. Maybe at some other point in the future, I'll play around with this to see how it works. This is not necessarily my priority though. I would say that my priority is getting to figure out how to use this. So I have the instructions in front of me, and something that I just wanted to get on video is how easy or difficult it is to load this razor with blades for the first time. This is definitely the first time I'm ever doing anything like this, and I just want to make sure that it's easy, but also kind of document the process in case anyone else out there is thinking about buying this and doesn't know how to do it themselves and wants to know how easy or difficult it is to do it on your own if you don't have like a store to go into to ask somebody how to do this, because I don't. So I'm gonna get this on camera. I'll switch over and start doing that right now. Okay, you guys, so I realize this is not the most flattering view, but I mean, you need to see what I'm doing. So I have my razor right here, I have the blades and the instructions. So I haven't really looked at these instructions yet. That may be good or bad, but let's see what this says and give it a try. So first it says to snap your blade in half while it's still in the paper. So let's see about how to get one of these out. Okay, so it's pretty easy. Here is the blade in the paper. I think you might be able to see the blade inside, and it says to snap it in half while it's still in the paper. So let's see. All right, so that was interesting. To give you a heads up, the blade feels a little bit more like bendy and flexible than I expected it to be, so it was making me a little bit nervous. But you do pretty much have to get it to like the folding point before it actually breaks. So it did break. You might have been able to hear that in the video. All right, so step 2. There aren't really any words here, but it looks like I'm supposed to turn this at the back, and maybe it opens this part up. Okay, so that's what it did. So from the picture, it looks like there's this top part, and it looks like both of these have to go up. So if you can see right here, sorry, this is interesting to film, but there are 2 little pieces right here that move. So I'll flip that up, and bottom blade goes there. So it looks like I'll need to snap one more blade in half, but I'll do that afterwards. I'll be honest, this is the part that makes me kind of nervous. So let's open up this paper. Here is the blade. So bottom blade, I am planning on using 3 blades. They're a little bit hard to grab, and I definitely don't want to cut myself, so here we go. Here is 1 blade. We have it opened up right here, and then I guess I just, in the diagram, it's kind of circling these 2 notches right here on both sides, and that I'm guessing needs to like rest right here. There's a little, sorry, I don't know if you can see this, but there is a little notch right there on the corner. So there's a tiny little notch right there on the corner. Sorry, I had to tap the screen for it to focus. So let's see if I can get this there. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. I mean, I literally just put it straight down. It's not something that you're like clipping in this way, but I just put it straight down onto that spot, and it hooked in right there. So I guess we'll flip this over and try the second one. And if anyone sees me in person and I have like a band-aid on my finger, I guess you'll know why. But anyways, here's the second one. So where is it on here? Okay, right there. So that worked pretty well. I just slid it in right there. And so the last one, let me get one more blade out. Now I'm like, how do I store that half blade that I'm not using at the time? And this is pretty tightly packed in here, so it is a little bit hard to get them out. Just an FYI. Okay, so here's another one. We're gonna snap this one in half as well. Okay. And I'll remove one side. All right, so putting in this last one. Okay, so it just went in pretty easily as well. I think the most difficult part is these blades are so small. I don't know if using tweezers or anything like that would be helpful, but just as a heads up, these blades are pretty small, so finger dexterity for small things, just putting it out there. All right, so we got all 3 blades loaded. I guess I just need to close this, and it looks like I need to turn the little knob back here again. So let's see. It's hard to tell which way I need to turn it. All right, okay. It's getting screwed in. And there we go. I guess we did it. That was pretty fast. There's a timer going on here. It looks like it took me 5 minutes and 20 seconds for doing it the first time. That wasn't too bad. Plus I was being a little bit distracted going back and forth between the camera and doing this. So a couple of minutes if you're focusing on doing this alone and not having to, you know, show anyone what you're doing or anything like that. It didn't seem too crazy. I guess I can remove this piece right here and this other piece back here. All right, now we're ready to go. That's pretty crazy. I'm excited to start using this. I think it'll be different. I like the weight on it. I will probably try to use this before I film the last part of this video. So the next time you see me, it might be a different day, but just wanted to give you guys a heads up about that. All right, so it has been a couple of days since I filmed the first part of this video, but I wanted to come back on and kind of wrap things up since I actually got to try this guy right here, the leaf razor. So I tried it last night and I just wanted to kind of share how that went. For some point of reference, this isn't the one I was actually using. So this is like a Venus razor, but this is the travel size, which I think is really convenient actually for travel. But I didn't usually use this handle right here. This is all I just kind of had right now lying around. So I thought and it's clean and new, it's not used. So a couple of things that I wanted to point out the differences are between using the leaf and this. So last night when I used a leaf razor, and something that I had heard from someone else as well who started to use like plastic free razors, I'm not really sure what these are called, like the actual term for them, but initially before I even purchased one, I was a little bit scared because I don't know, like this to me is, I mean, it's honestly intimidating, and I assume that I'd be more like prone to cut myself or something like that. So those are reasons that kind of like held me back from actually going ahead and purchasing this. Plus this one specifically is pretty pricey. I mean, there's other ones out there that are less expensive, but this one actually has that swiveling head like I showed earlier in the video, and like 3 blades rather than, I think all the other ones that I have seen anyway only had 1 blade. So I did either read up or hear from somebody that when you use razors like this, you do have to make sure you're using some kind of like shave gel situation because it just kind of helps it glide more. So I did that, and something that I noticed, because sometimes I'll like go back and do the same spot more than once, like on my leg, and what I noticed is once it was gone, and if I tried to go back again, it did kind of freaked me out a little bit. Like I wouldn't recommend going in without anything. So I'll be honest, sometimes I would be a little bit lazy and not really use anything, and I could get away with just like shaving using this like on my leg and it would be just fine. I never cut myself doing that or anything like that. And I also noticed that you have to take your time a lot more with this one. Like you have to go slowly, or maybe in the beginning, maybe this is just a learning curve situation and I've only used this one so far, but I really had to take my time and go slowly and like small sections, whereas like the Venus, I could pretty much run it up most of my leg and it would be totally fine. Like nothing would happen if I did that. But with this one, I still question it a little bit. I'm not saying it's dangerous, but I just think if you're like, you have to take your time a little bit more, you definitely have to use like some other product kind of situation. I think, you know, maybe this is just my guess, but I think some of the reasons why that might be is because the leaf razor doesn't have like these blue things up here, and I think that kind of helps this like slide over the skin a lot better. I mean, I feel like it's sort of like a protective guard, if you will, of sorts. So that could be one of the reasons why I felt like the other one, it didn't like, it's not like it was getting stuck, but it just didn't feel like slick. Like I couldn't just like glide it over like how I could with this one. I do still realize that basically this whole thing up here is made out of plastic, except for a few tiny little blades. I don't know if it'll focus, but a few tiny blades right there. That's the only metal part, but pretty much everything else on here is plastic, which is the reason why I did want to switch over. But I will say that this gives like maybe a closer shave or a cleaner shave. I don't know what the right term is, but I do feel like my skin is like super smooth, which I was really impressed. I mean, I didn't know what to expect, but I wasn't expecting that, I guess I'll say. So it was a good surprise. But yeah, I didn't cut myself or anything like that. I did have to make sure that I was in like a well-lit area because I didn't want to accidentally like slip or, you know, not paying attention as well as I should. But this definitely has a lot more weight to it than the Venus razor, because the Venus razor is pretty much all made of plastic. This is super light now that I'm holding it in my hand. But I just wanted to come back on and sort of wrap that up and let you know how it went. If you're looking for a product like this, maybe, you know, give you a heads up that you might need to, if you're not used to using some sort of like shave cream or shave gel, you may need to pick something like that up. I know a lot of those types of products do come in some kind of container or like pump bottle or a tube or something like that. So I am trying to look for some other alternatives for things that might come in containers that are more easily disposed of, or like, you know, don't have a plastic element to it. On a previous video, which I will link up above, I did mention that I used the Kopari coconut oil before for shaving, and that honestly didn't really work out for me when I was using a razor like this. I got crazy bumps all over my legs. It wasn't the best experience, just to be super honest. I'm not sure how that will go if I were to use this. I'm also not sure if I'll have a hard time removing the blades because the coconut oil could build up. I don't know how, you know, if that will like damage this or anything at all. But if anybody out there has a metal razor and has used some kind of oil to shave, let me know how that went for you. If it was like totally okay, if your razor ended up rusting. Those are things that I would like to know. Plus, I mean, I'm sure this is coated in some way, shape, or form, but again, I don't want to be making any assumptions or anything like that. It's just different. It feels different. I think combined with the weight of the razor, plus the blades with no, I don't know, like, you know, things that kind of help things glide along. Those might be elements that might contribute to the experience of using it. But overall, I feel like it was a good choice for me to go that way. I might still keep this thing around in case I am traveling, because I don't know about traveling with this. I mean, what do you guys out there do who use things like this? But anyways, that's all I have for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope it was helpful for you if in case you're looking for a product like this to use. Overall, I would say I had a pretty good experience. I will continue to try to use this, and we'll see if the learning curve gets a little bit better. I'm hoping that I'll get used to it with time, but it definitely wasn't hard to do. I feel like I scared myself more than I needed to. I didn't get cut or injured in any kind of way, and ultimately, I mean, the results were good. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked watching this video, if you found it helpful, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.